You know, most people look at me when I tell them, I like eating at Chinese food restaurants. People look at me up down and go, "Oh yeah, yeah, I could see it in your eyes." Okay, but no, 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 no. You know why I like eating at a Chinese food restaurant? It's nothing to do with the fact that it's Chinese. I think Chinese people are okay, but I think China, the government, uh, absolutely fucking sucks. I hate commies. But so, no, it's not anything to do with it being Chinese. It's not anything to do with any kind of tradition because I don't really believe in that either. No, I like eating Chinese food for a couple of reasons. Some of them are a little funny. So, first reason, this is probably the number one reason. When I eat food, I want something that has a good amount of carbs in it. I want something kind of meaty, maybe has a good sauce to go with it. And I want the meat to be balanced against something else. So the meat could be balanced against the vegetables. The meat could be balanced against the carbs. And when you go to a Chinese food restaurant and you order anything, combination plate or a box or something by itself, it does not matter. No matter what, all three of those things are balanced against each other. Okay, there is an even amount of meat to vegetable and an even amount of meat to carb and so forth. Okay, because you're not eating at a restaurant to be healthy. If you wanted to be healthy, you just eat at fucking home. Okay, and Chinese food restaurants had this bad habit in the 90s and the 2000s where they Americanified everything. So it was just like mostly meat and there was like one piddly fucking tiny carrot. Like, I hate that shit. No. I want Chinese food. Okay. And so the Chinese food restaurants I like are the ones that serve like they're making it for themselves. And there's a good ratio of vegetables to meat. And there's a good ratio of vegetables to carbs. Okay. It makes for a pleasant eating experience. Maybe it's some kind of OCD thing that I didn't know I had, but I really enjoy that. And actually, when I'm cooking food for myself, whether it's a cheeseburger or a steak or a plate of macaroni and cheese or a fucking omelet, my food has a very similar balance. So it's a way of eating, because I like to enjoy myself when I eat. Now, so I start trying to be healthy, and I do try to eat one or two healthy meals. Then there's gonna be more vegetables, less carbs, and a decent portion of meat. Okay, so that's the first thing. It's real technical. It's kind of nerdy, whatever. The second reason why I like eating at a Chinese food restaurant is price. Or real simple. I mean, where the fuck else are you gonna go to a restaurant and sit down and pay only $10 for your entire meal, and it's like 2 pounds of food? You're not gonna get that at McDonald's. McDonald's is charging $33 for a fucking Big Mac. Fuck that. So price is a big reason. I like eating at In-N-Out because In-N-Out for one is tasty, but for two, it's actually pretty damn reasonably priced. Okay, I don't want to go somewhere and be like, shit, do we have enough money? Or, is this going to break the bank? Or is this going to be unreasonable? Or am I going to be unhappy with the food? Not because it wasn't delicious, but because it just shouldn't have cost as much as it did. Okay? You never have to worry about that at any Chinese restaurant. Ever. Okay? And another reason is I like fucking variety. Alright? I like the salty and the sweet and the savory and the meaty and the different things. Okay? And a lot of those like plates are kind of made to have all those things. They don't get offended if you put a bunch of sauce in your stuff. I wouldn't take a bottle of ketchup into a Chinese food restaurant, but I imagine if you showed up with one and did that crime against humanity to your plate, they wouldn't fucking mind. I don't think they would care. Okay. But, you know what else I like about Chinese food restaurant? This is the funny part here. You go in there, and there's 3 people that you're gonna meet right off the bat. Okay. You're gonna get a hello. Hello, sit down. Will you please? Okay. It's gonna be a sweet little lady. Okay. And she's gonna swing sweet and nice and everything. You sit down, and then there's gonna be a waiter. The waiter, oh my god, the waiter's gonna be like in their 20s, their 30s. And they're gonna look like they're stressed out of their fucking mind. They're gonna be profusely sweating. Okay? They're like, they're gonna come over. They're like, oh, how are you doing today? What would you want to order? And it doesn't matter what you order. It seems like no matter what you order, you're gonna piss them off. And if you dare try to pronounce, if you try to go with Kung Pao, or I'll look at you fucking sideways, okay? It doesn't matter if you don't try to pronounce anything Chinese. Just order it like a white person. It's going to make their ears bleed a little less. And if you order orange chicken, well, here's the thing about orange chicken. Orange chicken is actually an American invention. There is no General Tso's orange chicken, okay? That was invented by Panda Express in the 90s, all right? Yeah. So it's not Chinese in origin. You can even Google that. So if you order something like that, you're going to watch their head go and then go upside down, okay? Their head's going to spin a 360 like it's the fucking poltergeist, and they're going to try not to blow up on you, all right? Luckily, most menus don't even list it as orange chicken now. They just list it as something else. But you order that and everything, and they're going to go in the back. Now, in the back of the kitchen is the 3rd character, and you're not going to meet this guy unless you go outside and smoke a cigarette, okay? Because what's going to happen is that sweet little lady, the one that's like, hello, welcome in, sit down, what do you want? I'll bring your menu now. Okay, she's going to go in the back. Okay, she's going to go in the back to where the kitchen is, and through this really fancy wallpaper, because it's never painted, it's always wallpaper. Okay, and it's either going to be like a hospital hue pink, or a light blue, or maybe, if it's a really fancy place, a mustard yellow. Okay, she's going to go in the back there, and she's going to start fucking screaming at somebody. Okay, and that 3rd character who she's screaming at, the reason why she's screaming at him is because he's smoking a cigarette while he's cooking your food. Okay, and that's why she's screaming at him, because that's a health food violation thing. All right, so that 3rd character, there's like 500 fucking items on the menu, and he's just cooking. He's in a wife beater. He's not even like dressed like a chef, and he's got a cigarette. He's like, not even words, not even an accent, just sound effect, just mild grunt. Okay, he knows everything. He knows everything on the menu. He's never seen the menu. He doesn't even read the receipts. He just kind of looks at it. He's like, there's like, Kung Pao chicken, there'll be cake. I'm like, and then just start cooking Kung Pao chicken. Okay, and he's doing it one-handed with a wok and everything. He's doing things that you're supposed to do with 2 hands. He's doing one-handed. The other hand's holding on to that cigarette for dear fucking life. And that lady's gonna come back and scream at him. And that's the only time you're gonna meet that guy, is if you immediately go outside and have a cigarette. Okay. He's got like a wife beater. It's yellow. It's from the old country. Some comedian made that joke. But they're gonna have hair longer than mine, but you're never gonna realize it because it's all tied up in a fucking man bun. It's underneath that little white cap, and that little white cap, if you squint real closely at it, you're gonna realize that it's a Krispy Kreme cap that they took white out and whited out all the letters. Okay, so every time you go in, you meet those three characters. And then, when you get done with the meal and everything, you're going to go up and pay. No, they're not going to bring you the pocketbook. You got to get your ass up to the counter and pay. Alright? When you get up there to pay, that little old lady, that sweet little old lady, I was all nice to, how you going to pay? Cash, credit? She goes from sweet to immediate intensity. Immediately like, how you going to pay, motherfucker? Mom break her kneecaps today? Maybe just a little bit. Okay, so, and it's kind of like, for me, it's kind of like watching the Looney Tunes. All right, and it doesn't matter if you go to Dave Wong's. It doesn't matter if you go to China Village. It doesn't matter if you go to, Super Cowboy Meat Place now. It doesn't matter if you go to, Midnight Moon Landing. Doesn't matter if you go to Rice Bowl Movement or Lucha Libre Orange Chicken, and it sounds like I'm making up all these names. No. All these names are real. These are all different Chinese restaurants I've been to. Okay. And it doesn't matter if you go to any of these places. Same three characters every fucking time. None of these places are franchises. They have completely different recipes. They order completely different ingredients, have completely different suppliers. But if you go into any of them, you're going to run into the same three characters, and the food is going to be exactly the same. The only difference is the portions. I could go fuck off into the middle of the Midwest, okay, and go to a Chinese food restaurant, exact thing, okay. And then, and if there happens to be a high Mexican population in the area, that Chinese food restaurant is 100% guaranteed to have tacos. I'm gonna let that sit there for a minute. A Chinese food restaurant is gonna have tacos, and they're gonna be pretty damn good too. They're gonna be little small shit beater tacos you can eat like 40 of and never get full. Oh, and heaven help you if you go to one that's a buffet. Oh my God. Because that little sweet old lady, she's going to put, you're not going to see it, okay? You got to be a little sneaky if you want to see. But she's going to be all sweet and everything. You pay up front. Right? But behind that counter that she's sitting at, she's going to have a little timer, okay? And the moment that timer hits 1 hour, she's going to come to your table and she's going to passively aggressively change your soda or water or whatever it is you're drinking. She's basically hinting that she's going to charge you for a second hour. All right. And you're not getting out of that restaurant alive if you don't pay that second hour. I don't know why you take 2 hours to eat, but you can. You take your 2 hours, you get charged more because you're eating kind of a long time. No, you're on a fucking timer. Okay, it doesn't matter how much food you eat, it just matters how long you're fucking sitting there. So you better eat like you're at the goddamn NFL championship of fucking eating. And if you happen to go 1 hour, so 60 minutes and 3 seconds, boom, immediate passive aggressiveness. She's going to be staring at you. She's going to have binoculars. She's going to have like a Car 98, and she's going to just scope you. You're going to reach for your soda, and she's just going to pop around right into the fucking soda. She's going to go in the back of the kitchen, scream at the guy with the cigarette. The guy with the cigarette's going to come out, and then be like, oh, what do you know?
That's gonna be how he tells you to leave now. You know, and then when you go to pay, if you've been there for more than an hour, you better leave a tip, because if you don't leave a tip after you've been there for more than an hour, if you've been there for an hour and 5 minutes, you've been there for an hour and 30 minutes, you've been there for 2 hours, you better leave a fucking tip. Because if you don't leave a tip when you pay at a Chinese food buffet owned by a Chinese family, you're gonna be walking out that door and like, fuck you, I remember your face forever. You'll stay out of my restaurant, you fat fucking American. That's what's gonna happen. Okay. Oh, and then it's usually these three. It's either mother. At the counter, it's mother or grandmother. The waiter is son or grandson. Okay. And the guy who's cooking all your food, that's uncle. If you try to like read their name tags, it's not going to say their name. It's just going to say mother, grandmother, son, grandson, or it's going to say uncle. And then if if you're looking at uncle, that little tag is going to be like blown away in the fucking... It doesn't matter if there's no wind in the building. It's still going to be hanging on to that fucking shirt for dear fucking life. That dude doesn't care, And the dude has a coat too, probably. He'll just be around his waist 24/7. That guy will live, sleep, eat, pray, love, and go into the grave with that coat tied around his waist. So, that's why I like eating at Chinese food restaurants.